The second annual Global Week of Prayer for China is underway. It's a time for prayer for the church and the faithful in the communist country. The initiative began in response to a call from the Asian Bishops' Conference following the targeting of church leaders in Hong Kong and China. We go now to Congressman Chris Smith, Republican from New Jersey, who has backed measures to defend human rights and religious freedom in China. Representative Smith, thank you so much for joining us. You've said you want to revoke trade privileges with China over its horrible human rights record. Tell us more about this proposal.
Yes, I introduced legislation that would link human rights with trade. They call it PNTR, Permanent Normal Trading Relationship. And it would say to this exporting country that has gone on a tear under Xi Jinping to absolutely destroy churches, destroy mosques, destroy Tibetan Buddhist enclaves across the board, and all out assault on religious freedom and a whole host of other human rights abuses. It says unless there's significant progress in the direction of protecting human rights, they will lose their ability to send all of their items to the United States, basically without any kind of tariff or any kind of duty.
And Congressman Smith,
yes.
Do you have support for this so far?
I do have some very good support. I've already met with the Ways and Means chairman, Chairman Smith, same name, and he looked at it and is looking at it very carefully because that's where the Committee of Jurisdiction is, the Committee on Ways and Means. But it's an idea whose time has come. Bill Clinton shamefully delinked human rights from trade on May 26, 1994, on a Friday afternoon after everybody left Congress. They missed the news cycle. That's why he did it, and said, "You're on your own, people of China." And everything that has followed has shown that without some kind of conditionality, especially on trade, the human rights situation under this dictatorship does nothing but deteriorate.
That's right. Well, Congressman Smith, tell us a little bit about the Congressional-Executive Commission on China. You're its chair.
Yes, I've chaired it before, and I'm chairing it now. The CSCE, as it's known as, the Congressional Commission, includes members of the House, Senate, Democrats, Republicans. I am chairman. We've had a number of hearings already. Matter of fact, on point with today, we actually had a meeting with Sebastian Lai, who is Jimmy Lai's son, a great Catholic man who is now suffering in Hong Kong. He was the top journalist. He ran Apple News.
The Apple Daily, yes. And we've covered his trial extensively.
I know you have. And his son did a tremendous job, Sebastian, speaking out for his father. But there, Jimmy Lai and like so many other men and women of faith, they're finding themselves being thrown into prison, suffering unbelievable indignity in terms of even torture. So we need to raise that issue very, very aggressively. So on the commission, we have hearings. We come up with strategies. The Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act, which I was the prime sponsor of in 2014, 4 years later became law. We worked it in that commission as a way of trying to counter what Xi Jinping was doing to destroy the freedom and semi-independence of Hong Kong.
Now, everyone is aware of the abuses in China. Would you say that you have bipartisan support on these ideas?
We do on most issues, I'm happy to say. In the past, it was the presidents, especially Bill Clinton, who went south on the people, the oppressed people of China. And I think by doing that, we have unleashed a dictatorship that now is a military threat as well as a threat to their own people as it relates to fundamental freedoms and human rights. But to the greatest extent possible, we try to keep it bipartisan. We are calling out President Biden. He needs to do far more than he has done to speak directly to Xi Jinping, the dictator, to raise issues related to the ongoing genocide against the Uyghurs in Xinjiang. I mean, every conversation with China needs to bring up almost immediately, if not first, they're committing genocide right now, killing people, putting them in concentration camps, simply in this case because they happen to be Muslims.
That's right. It's a grave human rights violation.
Grave human rights. And they're doing it across the board against the Christians, the underground church, as well as the official church known as the Patriotic Church, are being repressed and crushed. Xi Jinping enacted something called Sinonization, where everything in China has to comport with his Marxist ideals. And I'm talking about all religious groups. They have to, they're surveilled very, very aggressively. And if they don't comport, if they don't toe the line, they're off to prison and their congregation is scattered, if not imprisoned themselves.
Well, it's something that we're definitely watching and reporting on, and we're grateful for your work. Congressman Chris Smith, Republican from New Jersey.
Thank you so much for having me on.